Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, you know who I am. Don't mind her. I'll introduce her in a minute. But this is Queen Realm Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. And with me, in my humble abode, in my space, thighs on thighs, best friend, Gloetry, right here. You know, we got a fairly new person. He's been on here once before. We got twos in the building.
Tell him.
And you know Rico Suave at the bottom. You understand? Rico Suave. He think he's somebody because he got a haircut. You know how men do. Because he got a haircut.
You know what I'm saying? Just,
I did not. Okay.
Nothing too major,
I wouldn't even know what introduction he had to
A rare sighting of your boy without the headgear. But we gonna thug it out tonight though.
He said he ain't hat fishing nobody.
Hat fish.
Never.
I'm stupid. Anyway, Mr. Executive L in the building. And of course, I know y'all seen the title because hopefully all of my viewers can read. It says, "Tell me where it hurts." And we're going to be talking about vulnerability, specifically of the people of the melanated nature. Why we have such a hard time being vulnerable and expressing our hurt and our pain and our feelings and emotions to one another. So, the first topic, because we're going to get right into it, is what is your definition of being vulnerable? And since there are four of us, I'm going to go into my tried and true method of itchy ice cream to figure out who's going first. Somebody heard the sound up there. Maybe me. Let's do not disturb. All right. You already out. It's you. Gloria, what is your definition of being vulnerable?
Being vulnerable is putting yourself aside because none of your pride will keep you from, expressing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So you are letting your guard down to let others in or to express yourself outwardly to others that you normally wouldn't.
All right, and since Eldrin was the second and to last out, I'm gonna put a pin in it. I want to get everybody's definition first. Mr. Eldrin, Executive L, what is your definition of being vulnerable?
Vulnerability. My definition of being vulnerable is definitely being in a place where you feel safe with the person, being in a place where you are very much trusting and you feel comfortable enough to speak on topics that may not be showing yourself in the best light or allowing someone into a space that you may not have been healed from quite yet. So for me, vulnerability is really just being open as you can, open and honest as you can.
Okay.
Hold on.
You can go ahead.
Oh, all right. I feel it's no fear of expressing emotion, whether I love you, whether it is I hate you. That's me being as vulnerable and as comfortable enough to say these are my emotions. You know what I'm saying? And also, there's no fear of exposing who it is you are to the person that you're trying to get close to. And so I think that those are those, what's the word I want to look for? Those are those things that really create bonds amongst people. You know what I'm saying? If I could be vulnerable around you, that means that me and you have such a comfort level that I could truly be myself around you. That's to me is being vulnerable.
Is it my turn?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So for me, being vulnerable is like, I'm gonna piggyback a little bit off of everybody. It's being able to be open, being honest, because there's always a little fear associated with being vulnerable. Because everybody's scared to open up. Being able to be free in how you express and what you express and who you express it to. That's my definition of being vulnerable.
Now,
Hold on. I'm doing anything that one. So now that we got that out the way, Gloria, I'm just gonna do this. Gloria, why do you think it is hard for people to be vulnerable?
people or black people?
Black folk, because I don't know if this is about melanin folk, most of it.
I had to just check.
Black folk.
I mean, honestly, I remember growing up being told, you know, keep it to yourself. Don't let nobody see you cry. You know, and that goes for male and female. We've been told, you know, when you see you cry, that's weakness. You know, don't let it happen. They're gonna get over on you because you're crying. They're gonna take advantage of you because you're crying. So don't do it. Cry in your room. Cry to yourself.
Yeah.
And then black folks don't talk about therapy or going to counseling if you have problems. Talk to yourself. Write in the journal. You know, so you're not. Yeah, talk to me. You're not allowed to express yourself because you're told don't do that. Yeah, I don't have time for that. I don't want to deal with that right now because that will expose my insecurity, my things going on with me. So don't even bring it. Plus, if you're a kid, you don't got no business.
You have feelings.
You don't got no. You're a kid. Go play. So if you've been taught that from childhood, you carry it over to adulthood. I see you smiling. You carry it over to adulthood because that's how you know how to deal with it. You know, vulnerability was not okay, not allowed.
Elgin, because he already cracking his neck and everything. Go ahead.
I mean, I think like in the black community, at times we are taught from a young age that feelings. I'll put it like this. I think we need to do a better job in the black community of equating feelings and emotions to success or to a happy ending on the other side. I think a lot of times we equate, feelings and emotions and things that have happened to us to pain or to trauma. But at times that does happen. But how do you get over it? How do you get past it? How do you grow from it if you don't talk about it? And it kind of leads me to a term where, a lot of people probably have heard this, what happens in this house stays in this house, and don't ever let me hear you running your mouth about what going on in this house, or that's going to be your last time running your mouth about what going in this house. So I think that, growing up with that, a lot of, I bet you could probably say that to 10 black people, and before you finish the statement, at least 9 of them saying the last part to you back, so I think that we have to do a better job of allowing ourselves and the younger generation in our community be able to express themselves and elaborate and be able to start to unpack and understand their feelings and emotions, because nowadays kids are in that area, they're maturing a lot faster. They know what makes them cry. They know what makes them feel sad. They know what puts them down, and the thing about it is, in this day and age, kids are cruel. Kids are evil, so they're having to deal with some of those emotions that maybe even in my generation, and I know my parents' generation, they didn't have to deal with that crap sometimes until they was adults. But nowadays you got a 12-year-old dealing with depression, and it's like, bro, you just in middle school. What you talking about? You depressed. But when you getting bullied over the internet and people stealing your lunch, and the cool kids don't want to sit with you at lunchtime, all these things are going on. It's shaping you and molding you in different ways. And if you can't express yourself, or you don't have an outlet or a place to do that at home or even in school, sometimes it can really spiral you to a negative way.
Yeah. I feel like uh, like I mean, we could come up in a world where it teaches us that we can't show emotion. Like I mean, we live in such a harsh place. If we show emotion, it's equated to weakness or being lesser than. And so I think that especially now, like I mean, especially with all the type of influences out there, whether it's the internet, whether it's you know what I'm saying your friends, whether it's somebody who's older, it's like, look, you know what I'm saying? If you show this emotion, then I can't take you seriously when it comes to everything else. Everything else always has a future effect. So okay, if you're crying over here, I can't take you over here to this meeting, or I can't take you over here to this opportunity because I don't know how quote unquote emotionally you can handle it. So I think that vulnerability has it, like I mean, I think now it's kind of getting to a point where we're starting to understand it. There's a lot of outlets out there, but you know what I'm saying. At the end of the day, it's like being vulnerable still has somewhat of a negative stigma because we don't understand sometimes that look like we all are going through something. Like we're all going through something. You know, like I mean, every day sometimes is a challenge. But I think that now it's better than it was previous because we understand that we're going through something. Like I mean, a lot of times that understanding wasn't there. A lot of times our parents were like, "Look, like when you go outside, you have to carry yourself as if, no, this is mine. No, this is this. No, this is that." But at the end of the day, if I'm going through something, I have to feel comfortable enough to express myself. That's that vulnerability. And I think that now we all have the comfort level to say, look, I'm vulnerable right now. I have things on my head right now, and I just really need somebody to talk to. And so like us coming up, you know, I was born in '85. So coming up through the '90s, that decade, that time, like you had to be a certain way in order to walk through. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't be like, yeah, I feel this way. But I think that now with just like everybody willing to express themselves, having different outlets, whether it's music, whether it's poetry, whether it's whatever, we have all these outlets to give off that vulnerability and channel everything. So I think that's the difference now more than ever. I feel. Yeah.
So I'm gonna take a little bit of what everybody said because when Ellen said that phrase, I just thought about something like black kids. We can't tell our parents we depressed because it depressed them dishes. What you got to be depressed about? Your room ain't even clean. How you depressed? Just you. If them grades depressed, just everything. It was like
everything turns into a joke.
Everything turns into a joke, and you're mocked immediately before you even get a chance to express. So when you express to somebody other than your parents, and your parents find out, especially in the black household, why you out here telling people our business? Our? I'm depressed. I didn't tell you we was depressed.
I brought it to you.
I brought it to you. Like, look, I brought it to you. You didn't want it. You didn't hear it. Or this is my favorite one. That's some white people shit.
Right.
So I'm gonna take it on a deeper level. Being black, we can't even be humanized because apparently only white people can have feelings. I'm supposed to take it on the chin or take the strap to the back, like all the way back in the day, and not have no feelings. I used to hear this term a lot too. You all right, rub some dirt in it. Pull your big girl panties up. I'm 7. I don't even have none of those yet. Like, I'm sad. Well, what you got to be sad about? Before I even get to the point of expressing what's wrong, you're already cutting it down. Or the older generation and boomers are already cutting it down. Oh, y'all soft. Y'all soft. Because y'all was raised on trauma. That don't mean I want to be traumatized. So I hate them. Oh, the kids soft. No, they have feelings. But now it's like an extreme because the generation after us, after the millennials, the Zers, they feel everything. Everything. They have a feeling about everything. Because it's such a pushback from how we grew up. We weren't allowed to have feelings. Oh, that's soft. You weak.
Yeah, even the rappers, right? The rappers now are talking feelings. You know, that one, I'm not going to give names. The one rapper, he sounded depressed every time he raps something.
I know a couple, and I won't listen to them because they always sound depressed.
But That's new.
New, yeah.
The old school rappers don't rap about that kind of stuff. You know, you might hear R&B talking some emotions, some feelings, but you didn't hear rap doing it. So I think that allows the kids not to do it.
And if they did, it was about they rapping about anger or something that made them mad or something like that. And then specifically for Black men and Black women, women are taught to just eat everything. Men are taught not to feel at all. So even if you feel some type of way, you're just supposed to stay in that. Don't show any emotion because then you're gonna be an angry Black man and an angry Black woman. But this emotion I have is not even anger; it's sadness. But I can't cry because no matter what emotion I display, it's going to get interpreted as anger. I'm crying. What? I can't. Okay, we're not allowed to feel. If you have feelings, you're weird, you're soft, you're strange, you're weak. And Tuesday at the point, I grew up in the hood, so you couldn't be weak outside. I give you an example. Yesterday, 24 hours ago, I was getting my nails done, and it's a young man walking down the street with an AR-15. And I looked at my nail taker, she looked at me, and she's like, it's flapping outside. I don't want to go out there, though, because they got AR-15. I don't. She said, they all right, but they're walking down the street with AR-15. I don't want a sad person with an AR-15 in my presence. But that's an angry person. I don't want him to have any adverse feelings. Because I don't live in the hood anymore, so that's not appealing anymore. But just think about if that person, what if that's not a well-adjusted man? What if he was never allowed to express himself? So if I say, can you move your car because you're blocking the driveway and I want to go home, you got an AR-15. I just came over to get my nails done. I just want to go home. Just want to go home. There to commemorate the death of somebody else who got shot. It's just backwards. So anyway, that's a whole another episode. But that why it's so hard to be vulnerable goes into my next point, which is, do you think it is particularly harder for people of color? I'm not even going to say people of color. Black, because I don't want to be lumped in with all POCs. I'm sorry. For Black men and women to be vulnerable. Like, why is it so hard? Particularly. Like, why? I'm going to go to Elgin first on this one.
I would say it's harder for the Black community to be vulnerable in a sense because I think we never really had anybody to be vulnerable to in the beginning. I mean, if you think about it, back in the day, the Black man crying for, getting whipped on the back, who you gonna talk to? He can't talk to the next Black man because he gonna tell him to chill or shut up or, like, this is what we gotta do. Like, what we gonna do, or be quiet. I don't want master to hear us. He can't talk to his wife because she in the house next to the white man. You know what I'm saying? So who does he have to talk to? And I think that has kind of built it over the years, and we out of slavery now, but I think for people who don't fully understand therapy and its positive impact it have on your life, I think they still don't have someone to talk to. And through my years, I've done mentorship with young Black men, and they'll tell me, like, you're the first person to actually listen to me, and this is including their mom, so I think that stigma and that overarching factor in our community has continued to this day, and I think that on the flip side of it, the negative drawbacks of talking to someone has hindered us a lot, because there's times where, whoever, men and women, when you get vulnerable, it gets used against you, and in a time of anger, that's why you a pussy ass nigga. You was crying about peeing in the bed at 12 years old and you 22 now, or, that's why you a dumbass whatever because you still ain't got over being molested at 12 years old. This is the dumb stuff that we will throw at each other because we've allowed ourselves to be vulnerable with one another, and then we get mad and then we expose that vulnerability.
Right.
So I think like that drawback too has a lot to do with us as a community of why we haven't got to the place where we feel so much comfortable. And I'm sure these things that I'm speaking on, even the last part that I mentioned, it happens in other races too. But I just think that, for the point of conversation that we're having right now, I think that those would be the main two, is that from our existence, we as a Black community, we never really had nobody to talk to. And a lot of times it's sad to say that we can't talk to our parents. I know for me, at one point in time in my life, and I might rub some feathers, I might rub some people the wrong way when I say this, but it was easier to talk to my stepmom than it was my dad and my mom, and that's just where it was at that point. It wasn't always that way, but there were specifically certain topics too that, just were easier to talk to her, and I was appreciative to have her in those moments, to have an adult's opinion and an adult conversation about things that I might not even fully understood at that point in my teenage years.
Glo, I want to ask you next. Gloria's an educator, so she see a lot and deal with children every day and all the time. So, why do you think it's so hard for us African American, us Black folks, to be vulnerable?
I mean, like we all said, we're saying, and it's generational. You know what I mean? I think my students today, like, I do a peer mediation, and I've been doing that since I was a kid. I mean, hosting and leading it, and so I bring it to my students, and it's like you have a chance to express your side, you express your side, and we'll find a solution in the middle. And even when I've done that at a guest building, I was a new person to the building. Kids didn't know me, the staff didn't know me, and I was placed there to assist. I do the same thing everywhere. There were two young men who had an issue with each other. They were about to fight. I stopped it. Hey, what's going on? The young man is expressing himself. He's talking, but he's doing this. And he wasn't mad. He was expressing himself. I knew it. I'm standing right there. Another staff came over and was like, "You a good kid. You a good kid. Go have fun." Am I not an adult standing here trying to solve this problem? You know what I mean?
But 2 days later.
Yeah, but the vulnerability was there. They agreed to tell each side a story and come up with a solution. We never got to it because someone dismissed it. They were outside looking in, seeing what appeared to be a young man excited, ready to go, not even asking what was up. I expressed myself to that adult later, but that happened so many times at that place though, where kids, male and female, got dismissed. Their feelings were not allowed to express. Now, why is the question, right? They appear to be something going to escalate. You didn't even allow me to work the process. But my students know that there is a process. There can be a process. I'm allowing that process, and I'm not telling you what to do. You will figure it out yourself because I'm not going to be here. The snitching thing, because they're going to tell, right? They're going to tell on you because you did something. I told them right up from the beginning, I know you're not going to snitch to me. I know you're not going to tell. Snitches, whatever. So you got to figure out how you're going to do this yourself. I'm giving them the tools back that was taken from them. The tools that don't allow them to be vulnerable, to express themselves, to solve their own problems. I want to give right back because I'm not always going to be there on the playground. I'm not in the bathroom when they're doing their thing, but it's going to be always issues coming up. So if your parents don't allow that space for you, you come to school and they don't allow it for you in day school, you come to after school, they don't allow it there. Where are you allowed to be yourself? Where are you allowed to express yourself? If I'm loud doesn't mean I'm mad.
Wait a minute. Wait. Pause. Say it again. What happened? She right here, so I got to get close to the screen. There you go. You got the hand. What happened?
Just because I'm loud doesn't mean I'm mad.
Okay.
And then at every level, a child too. Even when I first got into the child education, I felt the same way. How we taught as adults, yelling equals anger, right? I had to ask a young man directly. I said, "Why are you yelling?" He said, "Cause I'm the youngest in my house. It's 8 of us, and nobody can ever hear me, so I gotta yell to be heard."
For real.
Yeah. So I said, "Okay, cool. But you at school right now. The 8 siblings not here. I can hear you. You don't gotta yell. So you are free to not yell here. I don't care what you do at home. And I said, if you work on yelling at the students, I'll work on being harsh with you. Because my first thought was timeout, corner, 3 times out of here. But what's they gonna do at home? More time where they're not listening to. More time where they getting, whatever kind of treatment. So now to teaching to both of us. I'm learning how to listen. They learn how to do together. It's necessary.
I got so many notes already. I can't wait till it's my turn. But it ain't my turn right now. We're gonna go to 2 first, and then I'm gonna go.
But I think also it's like everybody has said, it's a generational thing. Like and it can also turn into a religion thing in the church. Okay, if I'm feeling this way, then it's like, well, God said in such and such that this is not supposed to be that way, so we just move forward. But this is how I'm feeling.
Yep.
Like I feel this way. And so, what I'm saying? I think that parents, though, maybe intentionally or maybe unintentionally, they look at the Bible as this is just the end all be all to problems, to where it goes way deeper than that. It's way more layers to that. I have to walk through this world we live in every single day, and I'm hit with problems every single day. A lot of times the scripture doesn't really tell exactly what's going on in my life right now. And so I just need somebody to talk to. You know what I'm saying? I wish I didn't have to go through all of this. And I wish there was an answer for everything, but sometimes the only answer is that me continuing to try to talk to you about it. And if I can't talk to you about it, I'm gonna have to figure out this problem by myself. And a lot of times that's not the best thing for a person to have to go through. You have to have somebody to talk to. And I think between that and also you're just coming up through school, you're coming up through a adolescence. You're trying to find yourself also. So I can only give examples of myself. As far as me coming up through high school, I had a speech impediment that was making me not want to speak in public, period. I was scared. I heard jokes every single day. And so it's literally trying to tell somebody look, I'm not for any of this, but it's hard to get that out when you got a million people cracking on you, and then you try to tell somebody that this is really hurting me. Nah, man, what you doing, man? They just jokes. You know what I'm saying? Get over it. Nah, but bro, that's a self-esteem thing. I've had to deal with this. I've had to deal with this my whole life, and I've just now started to embrace it as a gift. But it took me a while to say it's a gift. After you hear the jokes, you see the people laugh, you hear everything. It's I'm vulnerable right now because I'm afraid to talk in public. I'm afraid to truly express who I'm self. I have all these ideas and have everything within my brain I want to give to the world, and I can't give it because I'm scared. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it just comes from one, a generational way of thinking that look like if it's in the Bible, it just means everything. When a lot of stuff is just layered that you really have to talk to somebody about. And it also comes from just growing up within, within your peers, just trying to let your peers know that, look, I'm not soft, but like you, I go through stuff. And so I just need you to just calm down a little bit, because that can teeter off into something that's way more serious. Right. So it's just a matter of just, parents and your peers a lot of times.
Child. Y'all, it's oil over there. Down there, it's oil down there. Just not oil over here, because it's oil down here. It's oil over here. I'm gonna get some. Let me get some of y'all oil. Let me get a little bit. But everything y'all said, plus I wrote in real big letters that oftentimes it's hard for African Americans, men and women, but I'm gonna speak from the woman point of view, that oftentimes my vulnerability was weaponized. I'm coming to you saying I'm sad, and Elvin said later on, he's like, oh, you was the type of person, you cried over this, you was mad over this. I didn't tell you that so that later on you can use it. You using something that hurt me to hurt me all over again. So now you stacking my trauma like Jenga. So that's not
Now it's stacking your trauma like what?
Like Jenga.
at the bar.
It's unstable. It's rocky. It's not on solid ground.
One wrong move.
One wrong move.
I'm a blow.
And I'm a blow. And then when people like that snap, or I'm gonna use myself when I snap, then it's, oh, you crazy. Oh, you doing too much. Oh, why you acting like that? It's not even that serious. It was serious when I decided to open up to you about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you decided to play with me. But you didn't take me serious when I was being serious. So now I gotta go to this extreme to get you to pay attention when you could have just listened to me be vulnerable at that point. And I feel like, because like El just said, I messed up with some people's toes. I remember at one point saying to my mom, I want to go to therapy. What you want to go to therapy for? Because I feel like I need to talk to somebody. Or you can talk to me. Not what you need to talk about, not what's going on, nothing. Oh, you can talk to me. Apparently I can't because I haven't. And I don't.
And what age was this?
Huh?
And what age was this?
I think I was 11. So I was right in the middle of being assaulted. And there was a reason why I wanted to talk to somebody. But you want
11 years old, wanted to do therapy.
Yes.
In the Black community.
Yes. So that didn't go over well. You need to go to church.
I just had to break that down so the people understand.
You know what I'm saying? I always been a smart child. But I knew then that something wasn't right, but I couldn't make sense of what was going on because there was nobody to talk to. I do thank God for the older women in my family, like my grandmothers, my great aunts, because I was always able to talk to them and they would just listen. It wasn't, oh, your feelings don't matter. My grandmother, both of them in particular, would tell me, you know, I'm glad that you're able to talk to me because I wasn't able to talk to your great grandmother. I would tell your great grandmother things and, you know, stuff happened to them because it's a generational thing of abuse, women being abused in my family. And both of my grandmothers was telling me the stories about them telling their mothers. And basically the responses was, oh, that's just how men are. That was the talk. That was the talk.
Yep.
My grandmother was telling me stories about, she had a lot of sisters. And they used to have to hurry up and run home because men would try to take them off somewhere and do stuff to them. And that was just normal. You just had to make it home. Or they had to jump the boy to get him off one sister. Like, that's normal for them. That's just how men was back then, or just how things was. So a lot of the older generation needs to get over saying that's just how it was. That's how it was when you grew up. But I am not you, and this is not them.
And truth be told, it shouldn't have happened then either.
That part.
It's not normal. It should not have happened. It did. We can't change it. But it doesn't make now any less, traumatic.
Right. And then another note I wrote down for everybody talking is, when Gloria was talking about the boy talking with his hands, oftentimes as African American, our passion is interpreted as aggression. And people automatically think just because we're passionate about something that we're angry or we're going to do something dangerous. But when another race is passionate about something, you don't get that because the whole rest of the world is even conditioned that we don't have feelings. The only feeling we have or raw emotion we have is anger. Anger and lust. That's all we are to the outside world. We're something to lust after or lust. They try to be like us and lust after us. But we can't be in our own sexuality, femininity, nothing. We can't have nothing. So we are not even allowed to be frustrated that we're not allowed to be ourselves, but the whole rest of the world want to be like us. So we got to look at that every day and not have no feelings. I can't have no feelings about you trying to be me, but I can't even be me. But you don't understand why I'm upset. Okay.
That's another topic right there.
The rest of the world never saw the truth of our feelings because they don't believe we have any. We're I don't want to say live.
It was never accepted.
We're a commodity.
Yeah.
We're a commodity. That's
our feelings was never respected.
Right.
From the beginning of the time. No one cared about us crying on those ships. Mm-hmm. No one cared about the tears that was wept, even from the kids watching their father being beat in slavery. No one cared about those tears. No one cared about those kids' thoughts of what it did to them as they watched their father hang and the blood drip from his neck.
Strange fruit. Did nobody care about that? That's just normal. If y'all don't know
Like that.
Strange Fruit, y'all need to go look up Billie Holiday's Strange Fruit. It's not a great. It's a wonderful song, but it's a terrible song. Another thing was about we're loud. We get told. I'm gonna use myself again as example. I got told my whole life I'm loud. You're loud. You're too loud. You're too loud. Everything you're doing is too loud. I get told all the time I'm extra, and that used to bother me, but I don't give a damn now because I'll be extra and you could be less. Because who wants to be less than? I'll be more than.
Absolutely.
Anyway, sorry, I went on tangent. But I realized how that has affected me in my life because now I'm very passionate, but I don't talk loud. Even when I think I'm talking loud, I'm not loud. There's many instances where I'm talking to people and I'll be on the phone and they're like, I can't hear you. I'm like, what you mean you can't hear me? In my head, I'm yelling because I don't ever want to be too loud. I don't want to be told to be quiet. I don't want to be told that everything I'm doing is too much. So you have conditioned us to believe that if we talk with any inflection at all, you're loud. And if you're loud, then you're angry. And if you're angry, then you can't be controlled. You're an animal. All of a sudden, you know, I don't know, that's an attack dog or something. I don't know.
The whole place down, plantation. Miracle would have been no longer existing. He was getting angry.
Here. Wait, pause again. What happened was what?
I'm just saying, if we were as angry as they say we are,
Mm-hmm.
America would have been burned down.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Like, a lot of people would have gotten their asses
Burned
whooped.
everything.
We was as angry as they say we are. A lot of people would have gotten their asses
Tea
whooped.
Party too.
I mean, literally, they said, you better be glad we want reparations and not revenge.
Child.
I mean, it's not my words. Mayo said it, but I'm just repeating it because it's the truth. We have adapted to everything that's thrown our way. We have not overthrown any nation, anything that we needed because we are afraid.
We'll let y'all tear the shit up and we'll help you put it back together. Just so we can tell us we're not part of it later when we get done.
Have done it forever.
As I hand you the last brick, I'm gonna watch you stand up there and take all the accolades for building this wall when I'm the one that helped you mix the cement, bring the cement, stack the bricks, hold the ladder for you.
Oh, and by the way, you can't even touch this wall even though you helped build it. You can't touch it.
Don't even come over here. Don't even come. You're not allowed by the wall. Another thing, too, brought up about the religion thing. Everybody on here know I love the Lord, but I always tell people, Facebook, you can love Jesus and go to therapy. I promise, because I do. Go to therapy.
Hold on. I got something to support. 1 second. I sure will.
You gotta get some excuse. Listen, you can love Jesus and go to therapy too. I love therapy. To the point where I won't miss therapy. My work schedule won't even allow for me to go to therapy like I want to. So I have a virtual appointment on the phone on my lunch break. I am not missing the therapy and the counseling. Like I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And I'll pause while I wait for him to go get the supporting out there. Because I got some more points. I got all these points and notes I made just from y'all talking. So
I'm gonna say iron sharpens iron. We got
iron, yes, come on, iron sharpens iron, and whether two or more are gathered to be talking about the Bible. So y'all know I don't have to tell y'all to touch and agree today because I had to make y'all touch and agree.
First of all, we heard you, but we didn't know what you were trying to do right then and there.
But when two or more are gathered, some of them should be tacos.
I see.
When two or more gathered, there shall be tacos. But that's in the book. Somebody's book. My book it is. Somebody's book it is.
It's the book of Nicolation.
The book of nigga.
24/7 is try Jesus, not me, because I don't have. Bishop Toby said that.
I'm on the south side of
I'm holy. Pray with me. Don't play with me. I'm just saying. I'm not holy. God, what the hell he said? Don't trick God into fooling me yet.
Okay, literally. You know what?
God is working on me. I've only been baptized once.
And Mary things wearing off.
I need a refill.
I need to touch up. I need to fill in. I need a shape up. It doesn't call a haircut. You know, I need to fix up.
Hey, Pat, you think you can bless some water and I can just at least wash my hair with it? I need just a little more Jesus. Just a little bit more holy water in my life.
I can't find it right now. I'm mad. When you need something, you can't find it, but it's in your face.
Yeah.
When you don't need it.
You don't find it when we ain't recording no more.
That's right. Let's hear a picture. Should edit it in there.
But what I was saying is, people always, the older people want to be like, pray it out. But my pastor is the one who said, live church anyway. My pastor is the one who said, that's not a gang sign, by the way, people. It's live church because it's the L and the B. Don't do that. That's what I thought. Anyway, you can go to therapy because you can pray to God to get better, but what are you actually doing to get better? Because faith without work is dead.
Facts.
So you pray to have a better mental state, but what are you actually doing different to contribute? Because you pray for something you ain't prepared for, but that's counterproductive. And then people always get upset with us because they don't like our outlet. You won't allow me to feel, but the outlets I'm using to keep my feelings in check, oh, you don't like those. And
Listen.
sometimes they're not healthy, but you're going to judge me for having feelings and then judge the way I'm deal with the feelings, but you're not going to help me with either one. You just have to you're going to tell me what to do, but it's something you haven't been able to do. You making suggestions, but you don't have any solutions. Yeah. And there's a difference, because me and Lori was talking about this the other day. If I say, I'm talking to one of my friends, and I say, I'm asking for your advice on something, and you be like, oh, well, that sounds like a problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I'm not problem. You don't have anything for me? You don't have anything. You don't have anything for me? Nothing, not even a little bit of something? Okay. And then my last thing after of all of what y'all said was, we're punished for having feelings.
Yes.
So it's like, you damned if you do, damned if you don't. Or you're either too emotional or you stone cold. So I always say, when people don't know me, their perception of me by the things I say, because they don't know me, so all they're going off is what I say, is they either think I'm mean as hell, or my friends think I'm too nice. So there's some discrepancy somewhere in there. My friends think I'm too nice, but other people over here think I'm mean as hell.
Listen.
It must be you then.
Listen, I'm
because
trying
the
to
people
tell
who
you.
really know me and really care about me, they know when I care about you, I care about you. I just can't pretend that I do. Because if I don't, I don't know how to do that. I don't want, and that's another thing. The older generation always taught us you got to respect your elders.
Not always.
You got to respect your elders. Let me tell you something. If Shirley May pop off, if Shirley May tip me, she gonna get tatted. I done told y'all before, don't tip me, you won't get tatted. If you don't respect me, I won't respect you. Because I'm not just going to respect you because you're a couple years older than me. I got a family member. I'ma just say it, my uncle, right? I love him. I ain't about to say nothing adverse. He's only 5 years older than me. Like literally only 5 years older than me. And we used to bump heads all the time because he would be like, oh, I'm your uncle, you gotta respect me. And my response is, nigga, we was both born in the 80s. What are we doing? What we doing, sir? You're only, sir, cut it out now. You're only 5 years older than me. Well, you gotta respect me. You have to respect me. People always say respect is earned, but the first step of respect, I believe, is realizing that's another human being. You're human, I'm human. So that's the first layer of respect. But if you don't give me basic respect as another human being, let me tell you something. Do you think I held to the knob? I bet you I don't. However you treat me, is whatever you give me, you're going to get back. And it's not even about matching energies. Sometimes I treat people how they treat me so they can see how they feel. And that's not even being immature. You treated me this way, but you think I'm not turning the other cheek. Try Jesus, not me. Because people feel like, and that's another thing, some men, not all, I'm gonna say some because I know some respectable. Some men feel like because you're a woman and they're a man, especially in the black community, that I'm just supposed to give you this adorn you with all this respect and accolades because you have a penis. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And some women feel like, black women feel like, and me and Elgin had a conversation about this sort of kinda earlier. Some black women feel like, I'm gonna have to send both of y'all the video. Some black women feel like just because they're accomplished and they have stuff in the world that they can talk to a black man any kind of way. Let me tell you something.
No.
Male or female, if you talk to me crazy, hey, don't talk to me crazy. That's all I'm gonna say. Because you may not like what you're gonna get back. And talking to somebody crazy or out of the way is not a way to get respect. It's not what's the word I'm looking for? Appropriate way to express your dislike for something. We were talking about being loud. You can be expressive and loud, but don't yell. Don't yell and think that's going.
Watch your tone.
Absolutely.
Watch your tone and put your hands
to yourself. Absolutely.
Put your hands down.
Listen.
Nah, I had to get out of telling people to put their hands down because I talk with my hands a lot. So just back up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I can see what you're doing. I ain't gotta feel what you're doing.
Because I feel the air from your hands.
Because I feel, and because all the energy, I feel that first. So as soon as you approach, I feel that type of energy first before you get into whatever it is you're gonna talk about. So I need you to back up a couple steps.
Back.
After that, we can have a conversation.
I always tell people you're in my bubble. I don't like being touched by strangers anyway because I just feel that strange.
Yes.
Like I just started a new job at a different company, and there's a girl every day. Good morning.
I'm just.
She gonna say, I thought
wait
you
a minute.
I am, ma'am, but I've only known you for 11 days. If you don't move,
please.
Wait a
I got a coworker who will rub your back. She's talking to you. She's like, yeah, I love the job you're doing here, and just can't thank you enough. I can over there.
No, because if I do that, then I hear the phone call from HR.
Exactly. And you know
if you do that, I can't say anything.
Nah, I'm cool. At all. And it's just like there's a personal thing. I've been working with kids. There was a kid who liked to hug other kids, and they would come to me. I'm gonna say I don't want them on me, so I had to ask that kid to ask, "Can I give you a hug?" Some kids say yes, some said no. This is before COVID. But the idea is the same. The respect, that boundary, the vulnerability. This kid just enjoys hugs. Weird as it was, right? But the respect factor is let me ask first. You know, because don't touch me. I don't want. Period.
There's something there, man. These kids don't be with the hugging, so.
And I'm okay with that.
Special kid.
Yeah.
Special kid.
Yeah, totally get that.
Same day, because this happened today with I had a coworker. I'm talking to her. We're in training class or whatever, and they got to talking about cancer. My closest friends know I feel a certain way about that. But they went on and on and on. I'm like, I'm tearing up. Like, I can't. So I had to ask one of the moderators privately, can we change the subject? Why? Is it too much for you? Yes. Right. I don't know her, but I had to open up and be vulnerable. Like, ma'am, I'm not going to be able to have this conversation for another 30 minutes. I'm going to talk to you about shit. Like, and then my coworker hit me up and was like, when she said, because I told her, we in a private chat, she said, I'm glad because actually today she got a call that her uncle was dying. So I was going to send her a gift of a hug, and I'm like, nah. I got up, walked to her desk, and just hugged her for a few seconds. We both about to be some big babies, but this is another black woman going through something. So I just felt like it was my dude. I got to go get up and hug her. Like sending her a gift is not going to cut it. Because I know what she's feeling right now, and it's fresh for her because it's happening, and y'all just want to keep going on and on and on. I'm like, can we talk about something else?
But I think we all honestly that was vulnerable of you to take the time to say something. So you could have accepted it and just let it go on, not say nothing, but you took time to express yourself. Hey, A little too much for me. I mean, ain't it?
And I let it go. Probably a little. I waited till a tear was about to fall. I'm like, no, wait, hey, excuse me, ma'am. Can we cut this out?
Yeah.
I can't talk about this for another 30 minutes. Can we get back to what we're supposed to be doing? We're sidetracked. Okay.
Right.
I can't.
I mean, the same as the elder situation, right? Because we have folks who are older than us, we've been taught that their way is the right way. Even if they're wrong, we gotta follow because they are the elder. So in that same sense, your supervisor, everybody else.
I gotta keep pausing her. What now? Say it again. Let me get
I mean, just because they're older, we have to listen to them. They're right. That's not always the truth, right? We know some older folks.
Not always.
Who don't know what they're doing.
Who dead ass
wrong.
wrong.
Either way. Just my older than me. But the idea is to always be put that way, generationally. If they are older, they are an elder, they hold this spot, they deserve the respect. I respect you, but I don't mean I gotta listen to what you say. I'll never disrespect you, but you're not gonna do the same to me. I'm gonna leave. I got a vehicle.
Geraldine, I'm gonna get up out of here.
I can leave. As a child, you can't leave, right?
Yeah.
If your parents or elders are chastising you for whatever reason it may be, you could have been right. They could be wrong. But because they're older, they're going to make it as such and such, and you're going to have to take it. You're going to apologize, and you do everything that's necessary because your parents said so. Your granny, your uncle, the person at church. That's not right. That's not fair. And again, the generation you talked about before, the ones that are going to be considered softer now, people in between were like, we're not going to do it like our parents did us. I know people my age who are actually allowing their children to express themselves. Then their kids tell them no. They are allowing more freedom. So their kids have that vulnerability and are allowed to express themselves more than we were.
Yeah, remember this? I know everybody experienced this. Because I got a lot of comfort from my family. Nobody ever asks you what you want to eat.
Nope.
They just give you food. They don't care if you like it. They don't care if it's too spicy, too salty for you. You're going to eat it. You can't go outside. You can't do nothing.
No dessert.
You can't. I remember, I'm not going to say who, one of my aunts speaks me a stupid amount of food. And I mean stupid. I remember I was 8. She lived in the project. It was me and my other little cousin. And she fixed us. Have y'all ever seen Eddie Murphy Raw?
Yes.
Might have been when his mama made him that welfare burger. She made us some of those, 2 apiece. And I'm like, TT, I'm not gonna be able to eat all this. Before you even put that plate down here, well, you gonna eat it all because I don't want you telling me you hungry later. So I'm not gonna be allowed to be hungry later. It's noon.
That's right.
It's noon. I'm a kid. I got a high metabolism. I'm a time boy. I'm about to be out here running around playing. So I'm gonna be hungry. It's only noon though. It's noon. But it was so much food, and we could not get up from the table, and we could not get the dessert or a snack afterwards until we ate all this food. And I remember getting a stupid amount of time to eat this food. And then when I got up from the table, as I forced it in, I threw up. And I got in trouble for throwing it up because I'm wasting food. Well, ma'am, I told you I couldn't eat all this when you put it down here.
I told you.
I'm not hungry. I don't want this. I don't want this. You giving me these big portions because you don't want to feed me later. But I'm telling you, it's too much right now. Why can't I wrap up one and eat that one later? If you're worried about me being hungry later, you're going to force me to eat this food. I don't want it. But you can't get up from the table until you eat all this food. Oh, that's not nasty. You're going to sit down and eat this. Now, parents, because I don't have any children, but I got all nephews, and I play an integral role in my nephew's life because we believe in raising kids like a village. My generation, my sister and me and all of that. If my nephews don't like something, well, what do you want to eat? First of all, if you start off by asking them what they want to eat, you're less likely to have food to eat. What you want to eat? I mean, I want fried chicken. Okay. Ask your papa to fry you some chicken because that's what they really want anyway. And they gonna eat all of their food and get seconds because that's what they asked for. Is it really hurting you to get the kids the food they want to eat? I'm just saying.
That's on the topic right there. Kids in their rights.
Yeah, that's another.
And I'm not saying like if they ask for McDonald's every day, like we don't do that. We actually cook. So our nephews grew up eating cooked food. So generally they ask for a cooked meal, which I don't care about. Like my nephew who's a teenager. He eat me out of house and home, but I went to the grocery store because I knew he was coming over. What you want to eat while you here? I want you to make shrimp and grits for breakfast. Gotcha, let me go buy some shrimp and grits. But he's a good kid, so I don't know any other kid who can get out the hospital and still be on the National Honor Society. If this boy wants some shrimp and grits, he should have some goddamn shrimp and grits. And then everything we do now with the kids, the older generation view it as spoiling. Oh, you let him yell. First of all, I don't let no child yell at me. Because one of my nephews, the 6-year-old, he liked to yell when he get angry. And I told him, I don't care that you're angry, but who you hollering at? Like, let's get that in control. Why are you even mad? I said, you can either fix your attitude or I can help you fix it. And I'm just going to leave it at that because y'all know what I mean by help you fix it. So, but first, I want you to tell me what you even mad at. Well, I'm mad because of this. Okay, now what you want me to do about it? How can I help you? Well, because he almost got a whooping at his birthday party. At his birthday party for acting a fool over the pinata. So he's saying, well, he was yelling, why is everybody over here checking on me? Okay. So already we need to nip that in the bud because you think it's a problem that people are checking on you. That they're checking on you because they care about you and don't want you to be upset on your birthday. But I'm talking to them. I'm not using a baby tone or nothing. I'm not even yelling. I'm just saying the people are over here asking you're okay because you're upset and crying and it's your birthday and nobody wants you to be upset on your birthday. Well, I'm upset about the pinata. Well, your dad said he would hang it back up and hit it, and let you hit it some more. He wasn't mad that it was broken. He wasn't 6-year-old like this. He wasn't mad that all the candy fell out. He was mad he didn't get a second turn. He just wanted to beat the pinata. He don't give a damn about the candy. He just wanted to beat the pinata. So my brother said, I'll hang it back up so you can hit it. But who you hollered at? I said, I don't care that you're upset, but stop screaming because you're going to get a reflex pop, and that's not what I'm trying to do. So stop screaming. I said, are you all right? Well, Amina, can I go behind the shed? Because we had 2 sheds in the backyard. Can I go behind the shed until I calm down and get myself together? Of course. Hey, everybody leave the baby alone. He want to go back there and calm down. And that's just normal. But I'm not going to make him feel some type of way because he want to go calm down. I'm not going to make him feel some type of way because he's angry. Because it may not make sense to you why somebody is angry or why a child is angry, but he's 6. That's enough to be. He's 6. Let him have his 6-year-old logic. Let him know that it's okay that he can have feelings. I'm not going to make fun of his feelings. I'm not going to mock his feelings. He's 6. He's mad about a pinata. Hey, let's be glad that's the only thing he got to be worried about at 6. Because some of us had to be grown at 6. Some of us had things happen to us at 6 that you have to deal with, and now you're not even a child no more. That's a whole nother episode. Real quick, because we at the tail end here, I want to go moving on because we stayed on that point for a long time, but I knew we was. That's why I was in the middle.
Yeah,
is the pros of being vulnerable. The pros. I'm gonna eat ice cream for this because I feel like whoever go first is gonna be good. Ice cream. Itchy out. Wait, I'm still doing it.
I'm glad.
Don't jump the line. Let me selection process. Now I gotta start over.
no, you don't. I'm already out.
No, you ain't. I was on ice cream with you. Don't try to throw me off because you don't want to go first. Itchy out. He's out first. I know what I'm doing. My mama fight. Show mama in the nose. What color was the blood? Color was the blood glow. Purple. You wasted time. Purple. P-U-R-P-L-E. Elder.
Oh my god.
The pro.
I never seen you get all the way to the end of that.
I'm gonna turn it off, and she gonna keep going. No, I said,
I ain't never seen you get all the way to the end with that. I never knew what that.
If I'm not mistaken, I am Queen's Real, and this is Queen's Real Podcast. So
he
I
just said that he never got to the end before. He said it wasn't your
you
show.
never got to the end. Ain't nobody ever did it the right way. Then you're supposed to get to the end.
Well, I say the pros of being vulnerable is number one, it gives you an opportunity to express your whole self. And I think it gives the other person the opportunity to see another side of you that they may not always have access to. And I think that it's refreshing. It's releasing. It gives you a chance to get things off your chest. Gives you a chance to be open and carefree. And it gives you an opportunity to just be one with yourself and your feelings and your emotions. So it's very much slightly healing in certain cases. And I think that it's I would venture to say it's really a pathway to maturity and a successful inner peace and inner space in your life. So I think vulnerability is a lot more about strength than people give it.
Yeah, y'all don't want to hear it. I had to mute it, so don't mind that if something happening.
Nobody even knew.
They still don't know. You get the context.
Yes, I knew. I saw mouths moving and didn't hear nothing, so I knew.
No, you didn't want to hear it. Trust me. That ain't what I'm doing. Gloria.
All right, I agree with Elgin. Vulnerability, I say, is actually strength because you have to be strong enough to be vulnerable, right? Because it seems like a weakness, but it's not, because everybody can't be vulnerable. Everyone can't take time to express themselves. And that's what it is. It's expressing yourself, it's standing up for yourself, it's being strong enough to know that you're not strong in the moment. Because vulnerable does not mean weak.
Jesus.
But it is not as strong as you used to be.
Wait. Say it one more time. It's strong enough. It's what?
I don't remember.
It's strong enough to say you're not strong in that moment. That's what she had to say.
Yeah, exactly. Because vulnerability, we always think weakness. We always think, oh, they're vulnerable, or our vulnerable elders, our vulnerable youth, weaker than, less than. But I got to be strong enough to express myself to you. Two said he was afraid. If you were to express yourself, you got over that fear to express yourself. You are strong enough to be vulnerable, which is now strengthening what you thought you would have.
Tooth.
It inadvertently creates boundaries. Without knowing you're creating boundaries, because I'm vulnerable, telling you, okay, this is how I feel. Now there's a boundary over there to where it's like, okay, now you know what line not to cross, because I've been vulnerable enough to tell you this is what bothers me. I think, that, and also it limits a lot of just mental, mental challenges. I'm vulnerable, I'm expressing myself, I don't feel any type of restraint to tell you how it is I feel, which eliminates that type of insecurity. Okay, I can't be who I am around you because I'm vulnerable and you won't accept it. Knowing that I can be vulnerable and you can accept it, that just makes life just way more easier. I can walk every day and know I'm who I am regardless. I don't have to be another person because you know who I am, because I show you who I am. And I think that's the main thing.
I'm making notes. Okay. I got some notes again. After this one. Got some more notes. So the first thing I wrote was release, because a lot of things can be psychosomatic, and I think I explained what that was on another show, probably the emotional intelligence episode of Queensrealm Podcast. But if you don't release stuff, like for me, stuff becomes psychosomatic. Like I don't feel good on the inside, so then it comes out in my health. I don't feel good on the inside because I'm holding so much. So then it's having an effect on how I even treat myself, or it may not even have an effect on how I treat myself. It might exacerbate a condition I already have, or I might feel sick, or I don't feel good because I'm holding on to something that I shouldn't even be holding on to. But if I'm able to express to somebody about it, I feel better. It's like releasing. Like you ever hold on to something too tight and you hurt in your hand trying to hold on to it, but the stress is released once you let your hand go. You know what I'm saying? So there's that, and then a weight is lifted off of you. Everything don't seem so heavy when you feel like, oh, it's another human being out here that I can talk to. It's another person out here who understands me. It's another person out here who knows what I'm going through and what's happening. So it's good for us to have that connection with another person, because I like being by myself, but I also recognize that I can't do everything by myself. I need my squad. I need my support system. I need my team of people around me to be able to be vulnerable to. Like I gotta have somebody to not unload on, but somebody who can listen to me and understand and make me feel like that's not crazy.
Yeah.
You know, or talk me off a cliff or be accountable. But I can't do any of that with people I can't be vulnerable with. It makes you more open. Because if you're more vulnerable, if you're more in touch with yourself and your own emotions, you can recognize that in somebody else. So you being vulnerable can help your relationship with others. You know, because if you're able to be vulnerable with them, then they should be able to be vulnerable with you. And that'll just strengthen your relationship. I put one of the notes I took was more emotional intellect. It makes you more emotionally. I split intellect, but I meant aware. Like when something happens to you, you can better process it.
Yeah.
I don't want to say you're going to heal faster, because I always say healing is like a roller coaster. It ebbs and it flows. It's like the ocean, it just comes. But it makes it easier for you to discern when something isn't right.
Yeah.
You know, if you're in touch with when something is wrong, you can probably nip it in the bud quicker or recognize it as a problem faster if you are be able to be open with somebody or open with yourself. It is a strength, like Gloria said. It's a strength. It's something, because it takes a lot. Like, again, being vulnerable and open, because I feel like everybody that ever comes on my show is vulnerable and open, because we talk a lot about our own experiences in our own life, but it's a strength in it for me, because I've said on another show, I do this to help other people, but I inadvertently help myself. Because I'm being vulnerable, and like I was saying, I'm telling y'all my business. I'm telling y'all something that I experienced, because I don't talk about things I ain't never been through ever on the show. I don't feel like that's fair to come on here and talk about what I should have, could have, would have did on something I ain't never experienced. So I'm being vulnerable and sharing parts and facets of my life to try to help another person. But it takes strength, because I know anybody can watch what I'm saying any moment and judge me. They can pick and choose what to listen to or what to follow on what I'm saying, and then try to use that against me later. But here's the thing. I'm so comfortable in me. I don't give a damn. I'm not doing it for them. I'm more worried about who this reaching, who's supposed to reach. So there's that. I was going to include the definition of vulnerability, but I decided against it because I didn't like the definition. When you look up vulnerable, it means susceptible to attack. It's saying the definition weak. Like it's a negative connotation when the Webster's dictionary version of it, but that's not what I mean. I mean being able to, You are exposed. Now that definition I will take. You are exposed. But stepping out and being exposed actually helps you. Instead of everybody telling you to suck it in, keep it in. That don't help you do anything. Because now you just have a jumble of emotions that you don't do anything with. And then people turn into serial killers and whatnot. I'm just saying. Another pro to it, and my last pro I'm gonna say, but it's plenty more, is true to yourself.
Yes.
Because I'm always preaching and talking about self-love. You got to know how you treat yourself first. If you can't be vulnerable with you and tell yourself, hey, you tripping. This is not good for us. This is not good for you. This is good for you. Because I think Gloria was talking about one day, sometimes you be like, what am I doing? What you doing? Because I was watching the 85 South show, and they was talking about the thoughts and how you speak to yourself. And sometimes you be like, I will beat me the hell up. I will beat you. Like, who are you talking to? But you're talking to yourself. Yeah. Like, what you doing? What are you doing? I know all of us have the what the hell are you doing moment.
Yeah.
Like what's really happening? So yeah. And then we're moving along so we can start wrapping up in a little second here. I gotta go to the last point. I just gotta get to it because I got notes in one place, points in another place. The cons, and I'm gonna tell y'all now. We're gonna try to do this. We're gonna try to do this. We're gonna try to do this part.
Oh man,
a little quick, but I don't know if it's gonna be quick. The cons of being vulnerable with the wrong people.
Oh man,
the better part of an hour talking about the pros. Really, the cons of being vulnerable with the wrong.
You sound like you got a lot to say, brother. I think you might need to go first.
Man, listen, depending on, I could speak on as far as just like music. You can give who you are to an audience. Like you've been through so much. You give who you are to an audience. And there's a couple people who look at everything that you've gone through from a personal basis and will use it to go against you for no reason. They know your background, they know your record, everything, but they will take it and be like, "No, that's weak. No, okay, you did all that. No, it's like, no, he ain't real. He ain't no like I've been in these experiences where I've seen people diss other people for being themselves and saying, "Look, I've changed. I'm vulnerable. I've gone through all of this." But I feel so comfortable now, and it took me years to get to this point. Like I think that a lot of people look at, okay, what it is I'm doing right now, but they don't see the journey I had to get to this point to say, this is what I'm going through. And so I've seen that. I've seen it in relationships where it's just like, look, I'm so vulnerable that I'll tell you everything that I've gone through, and then it gets brought up in an argument. Oh, you did this. Oh, you did that. Oh, it's like, wait, you did this in your past relationship. Oh, so you gonna do this? Not like this? What you know? Like I'm telling you who I was previous, because at the end of the day, I want you to know how much I've changed. Like that's why I feel so comfortable. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot. It's a lot. You know what I'm saying? Between, I think that when you're vulnerable, it's great. You know what I'm saying? It's good to expose yourself and your vulnerabilities. But I think a lot of times if it's not exposed, you know what I'm saying, to the right people, it can be used for a multitude of things, whether it's to get the upper hand in an argument, whether it's to take your money, whether it's to do whatever. So that's why, though, you know what I'm saying, you want to express yourself, a lot of times you have to be guarded because not everybody has your best interest. So I think that's one of the harshest things I had to learn. That's one of the harshest things I had to learn about being within that space of exposing who I am. Because sometimes people will take advantage if you let them. It's a hard pill.
No doubt.
I'm gonna let the ladies go last.
Or you gonna let the ladies go last
I'm
on
gonna
this?
let the lady go because I'm gonna go last. Because woo, go ahead, Elsie. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'd say the list of cons of being vulnerable
To the wrong people.
is
Mm-hmm.
is mighty long.
Yeah.
I think he touched on a few great points on it, but I think for me the list of cons kind of I think I could sum it up or they stick out with 2 or 3 points. Um, I think just the deepest pain from a lover
Mm.
would be number one for me. Number two would be betrayal from a family member
Mm-hmm.
of that being exposed in the wrong moment
Woo.
or used against you. And I think number three would be a work betrayal. Maybe you had a moment with a boss of yours or, someone that was close to you and it was turned against you.
Mm.
So I think those would be my top three. Definitely, the intimate betrayal with somebody that you love dearly, a spouse or significant other, however you want to word it. A family member or a parent. And then last would be just, someone in a working relationship where, you may have been going through something and you needed to express something and get off your chest, and then it turned to be something negative at the end. So those three would be my top three cons.
Gloria.
Gloria. No, you guys make good points. I'll just say one: embarrassment.
Ooh.
If you're vulnerable to the wrong people, it could turn into embarrassment. Whether it
Mm-hmm.
be, maybe to the wrong person, like you imagine expressing yourself about someone else to someone, right? Maybe frustration or whatever, and then that person goes and tells. Well, it could be a betrayal too. But now you're embarrassed because you done told a tale and they done caught you, or you told them you snitched per se, and they went and told us now, or you mentioned about wetting the bed as a kid. The embarrassment comes, right? Or even a secondhand embarrassment. You embarrassed because somebody else did something, or they embarrassed because you said something, or embarrassment of being wrong. I'm being vulnerable, but maybe I misinterpreted what I thought I knew or something. So now, so now I'm embarrassed because I'm trying to, express myself. But I'm expressing it based on assumptions or based on emotions or whatever. I'm being vulnerable to express it, but now I'm embarrassed because of it, right? Or embarrassment is because I'm different or whatever. So I think a con to it could be embarrassment.
Let me hold on. Cause I gotta say it with my chest.
All right.
Everything y'all said, plus glory to the embarrassment. There's a couple examples I want to use real quick as far as the cons. Like black parents just always be like, don't be telling people what goes on outside of this house. But get right on the phone to their homegirl and berate you and tell your whole business about how stupid you were, how dumb you were, how you did this. I can't believe what the baby did. You won't believe what so and so did. They rushing to tell other folk your business that you just told me not to tell. So I'm confused. So I don't really know who to tell my business to because I'm using you as an example of who and who to tell my business to and who not to tell my business to. One, and when Gloria said the embarrassment, I'm gonna take it a step further. One of the cons of being vulnerable with the wrong person is I love Janae Aiko, so she got this song, and then I don't know the name of it. I think the name of the song is "You Are Here," but I don't think that's it. But at one point in the song, she says, "I hope you are who you say you are, because if you're not who I thought, it will break my heart." Because when you finally reach the point where you want to be vulnerable with somebody, it's damn right crushing.
Mm-hmm.
When you find out you are
Mm-hmm.
not who I thought you were, you are not who showing yourself to me to be. Like you're not. I don't even know you. but I thought I did, and because I thought I knew you, then I've expressed all of this stuff. And the more that I think I know you, and the more that I care about you, the more I express to you. And it make you feel some type of way if you do all that with anybody, friend, lover, family member, whoever, and you find out like, damn. So now you're embarrassed. You question yourself. If you're a person like me, when you make a mistake because you're hard on you, and you become hard on yourself, you start attacking yourself because you're like, I know better than this. I should have seen this. I should have seen this sign. I'm not gonna tell nobody else nothing. I'm not opening it up to another person. I'm not gonna be vulnerable anymore. I'm gonna be a savage. I'm gonna be this. I'm gonna be that. You are completely knocked off from who you were or who you are because you were vulnerable to the wrong person, and they took advantage of it in such a way that you're just damaged. And if you don't, but the crazy part of the way to get over being hurt from being vulnerable to the wrong person is to be vulnerable again.
Make it make sense.
Yeah, that's real.
You gotta be vulnerable again because now you gotta go to somebody and be like, such and such did this to me and it hurt. So now I have to express another hurt. So you have to be careful, or to be like that emotional Jenga, like I said earlier. Like, damn. And I don't know about you, but it's only so many times you're gonna play Jenga before you get tired of putting that shit back together. You're gonna be tired of putting that shit back up. Like, fuck it, all these pieces should just stay down here. I don't even want to play this no more. Fuck Jenga. I don't even like this game. Like, who's going to do that? So that's one of the biggest cons for me is opening up to a person who you thought they were somebody else and they wasn't. And it hurts even more. This is my actual feeling. Because a lot of times people want you to be vulnerable to see if you'll do it, but they have no intentions of being vulnerable back. They have no intentions. Their whole game plan is to let me use your vulnerabilities to get what I want from you. And once I got that, I'm good on you.
Out of there.
But listen here. And it's a lot of people have to fight themselves. I always say, I'm not going to do this. I make these whole speeches about I am not going to be an asshole because somebody was an asshole to me. Like, I don't understand. I've said this on every episode, the last 6 episodes, I think. People put too much work into being an asshole. You put too much work in trying to get over on people. What the fuck is I'm sorry. No, this is my show. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? Like, you do so much work to be evil when you could have did less work to be a good person and got better from me.
Thanks.
Because what I'm giving you right now is good. You know, when I did the other episode of Stacey and we were talking about better, best, this is the further to the better. It doesn't get any higher than best. You was getting good from me. Let me be vulnerable, it'll get better. But if you're vulnerable back with me with no ill intentions, you will get the best from me. You're cheating yourself out of a better me by just trying to play me. I'm just saying. Because if you think I'm the shit now, just wait a minute.
You played yourself
out of a better me. Because if I'm already the shit, let's think about simple math. Okay, if I'm the shit right now, and we carry exceptional and the wonderful, that's some good shit right there. That's math, and it's math like a motherfucker. Okay, you right. But that's also a fight. So people shouldn't have to recover from being around you. Ooh. I shouldn't have to recover from being in your presence.
That's real. Yes.
I'm in rehab. We didn't even have a relationship. I'm recovering from being in your presence. Child. I'm not.
Listen, that's what people
You better sit where you hurt. Like, because people, I shouldn't have to recover from being in your presence. People shouldn't have to recover from being in your presence. You should be You should get the best. I'm spilling stuff. Let me. Okay. Mama for the trip and fail.
It hurt. They say if a tree falls on the floor, nobody's there. It feels like a sound.
They wouldn't have heard it. I'm on the first floor.
I can go with them.
You know what? They wouldn't have heard. They wouldn't have heard me. That's irrelevant. That's the vulnerable moment and you're taking it.
You can repeat it. I mean, you can bring it up.
I didn't even say nothing. I did. I said it to myself. We didn't hear nothing. They heard you.
Heard everything.
Exactly. Thank you. Microphone picking up.
You know what? They heard music.
Nah. He heard it. Anyway, we're vulnerable in this moment.
You know, I almost fell over there. Y'all know I don't give a damn about nothing nobody think about me. I almost fell over here. The O-ring light is right here. I'm clumsy. And my toe got caught in the cord, and it was about to be a situation. Because they would have pulled the computer and everything would have failed. Okay? That's it. That's all.
Happens, bro.
I would have got back up like I didn't just fall, and we was not going to discuss it.
He said it like we are now. He said shit happens, bro.
Shit happens. It's rough. It's a rough 10 seconds in your life.
I'm glad you had that much faith in me that you think my recovery time would have been 10 seconds.
No, he said it only lasted 10 seconds. He was good even before though.
No, had I failed, I would stay down there for a second. What am I doing with my life? I would have had a what am I doing with my life moment like you on the floor at 10 o'clock at night. Because you can't walk. Who's still tripping over stuff at 30 for me? Never mind. I stub my toe. I stub my toe every day. Anyway, moving on. I digress. We got to wrap this up so I can go to bed. So we're gonna do last words, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna try to do it in 5 minutes. So we have 90 seconds apiece. I don't need 90 seconds. I got 90 seconds apiece to give y'all last words. I'm gonna get the timer. I'm gonna buzz you.
Somebody else already buzzed. I don't know.
Who buzzed?
You. Who was you start with?
This ain't buzz. This is exhaustion. You know what? You getting up in the morning at 5:45 and come to the gym with me. Let's do that.
I think I don't have a clock no more. My clocks don't work.
What you mean your clocks don't? I'm not about to do this. She said her clocks don't work.
None of my clocks work. None of them.
Oh, okay. Her clocks don't work. You sound like excuses too. But I know you got stuff to do.
I don't know what time 5:45 is.
You don't know what time for it 5:45 is?
I can't spell 911. I'm out of here.
Okay. Who's first? Let me go. Who's first? And time starts now.
Being vulnerable, you know what I'm saying, especially now is important. Letting people know, okay, this is how I feel, establishes a boundary, you know what I'm saying, automatically to where how you feel now, they'll know that they can't play with you or deal with you in that capacity. Never be afraid to be vulnerable. Vulnerable is yourself ultimately. This is who I am. Like, I mean, if no one knows who you are, then they're going to play you as who it is they think you are. So at the end of the day, when you're vulnerable, when you're not afraid, when you have no fear of what it is you feel or how you want to come off, you'll be more comfortable. Other people will be more comfortable in being around you. They won't feel like, oh, he or she isn't truly who they are. So it just brings a comfort level amongst yourself and your spirit feels better. So I think vulnerability is one of the most important traits that you have to have in order to just move around out here.
All right, he got it in there with 10 seconds to spare.
All right, that's what's happening.
We gonna let this. All right, Gloria, go.
It was going to be me. being vulnerable, like I say, it's the strength it takes to be vulnerable is the true strength of it all. But also trusting your instincts on who to be vulnerable with. Nothing wrong with being a little vulnerable first to test the waters. Then, because you don't know who you can be vulnerable with. So, but also finding those folks you can be vulnerable with, because everyone needs that. Whether it's your therapist, it's some family members, some friends, shoot, complete strangers sometimes have been that sounding board. You can be vulnerable. Y'all ever talk to somebody in the grocery store? Some random folks just start talking to you. Yeah. I mean, that's vulnerability. You have allowed yourself to talk to someone you normally wouldn't have talked to, right? So being vulnerable, allowing that feeling, allowing yourself to be that way, to see what happens, but also being careful who you're vulnerable with and what you say, all that good stuff.
Come on, she did it in. Come on, she had 30. Come on, she did it in under a minute, because that's my best friend. Anyway, Elgin, ready, set, go.
First, be vulnerable with yourself first. That's number one. And that starts in the mirror with what you like, what you don't like, what you see, what you don't see, what's hurting, what's not hurting, where you need to go, where you come from. So be vulnerable with yourself first. And then, like everybody else has said, be careful who you're vulnerable with, test the waters a little bit, but never beat yourself up if it goes the other way, if you are embarrassed, if you are, if it is brought back up in a bad argument or something like that, because you allowed yourself that release, that healing, and what someone chose to do with it in a negative way is on them, not on you. So vulnerability is always a strength. It's never a weakness, and never be afraid to be vulnerable, but always be vulnerable with yourself first.
Come on, I'm so proud of everybody. You had 26 seconds left. Look, everybody did so good. I'm joking, but yeah. I'm not timing me.
Why not?
Nah, I'm putting the time on you.
Thank you.
I do it. I ain't gonna do it like that. So start for me. Okay. Cancel. Start over. Okay. So for this, number one, y'all always know I'm always talking about taking care of yourself. So like Elgin said, please know how to be vulnerable with yourself. Okay, because once you know how to do things by yourself, for yourself, then you're not relying on another person to motivate you to do anything. You're doing this because you want to be a better you, and then it will spill out into other things. Because a lot of people lie to themselves every day. And if you can't even tell you the truth,
every motherfucking day.
If you can't even tell yourself the truth about you, you won't be able to even see the truth in others. And if you can't see the truth in others, then you're not going to have any idea who to be vulnerable with. You're not even going to know how to be vulnerable because you don't tell yourself the truth. So, like everybody said, be cautious. Do not beat yourself up. But please don't be scared to be vulnerable with yourself. Don't be scared to be vulnerable with yourself. What's the worst that can happen? You can be a better you. But that's all I had to say about that. I had 8 seconds left. Woo! And I started laughing in the beginning, so I really had more than 8 seconds. Anyway, this has been Queen's Real Podcast, everybody. And of course, all my lovely guests and their information and everything will be down in the description below. And I thank my best friend, you know what I'm saying, part of the squad, Mr. Elgin, part of my squad. And that, that support system and stuff I'm always talking about. There's 2 people that's on it. There's 2 people that's on it. I can be vulnerable with these folk. They might roast me sometimes, but specifically this one. But that's okay. What are friends for?
What I love roasting toast,
Okay, you know what I mean? Or like a little marshmallow, a little s'more, you know what I mean? Get off me. my guest. You gotta finish this out. Come on.
You started it, so you know where I'm going with this.
I do. Phone home. I love you.
Sorry, a lot of inside jokes happening.
Who's in?
Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Together. Snap. Come on. Hey. You listen down to one. My goodness.
I just had a whole album tell you off cover. But thank y'all so much. I'm crying.
Bro, we can't be able to that over.
No, we don't.
Yeah,
We're being vulnerable. But thank y'all again for being on here, and thank my viewers. Like, comment, subscribe, share, notification button. Go ahead and tap that. But again, this has been Queen's Real Podcast. We love y'all. Take this free game and use it. Do something with it. Do something with yourself with it. And we out of here. Bye. Bye.